My name is Dr. Mary Welsh, and I am the president and CEO of Susie Q's Kids. Susie was, she was just special. She was one of those kids that made everybody smile. She was just enamored. Everybody smiled around her. So Susie was sick quite a bit. She spent most of her adulthood in and out of a hospital room. So she would for months at a time. And those four walls can suck the life out of you. And she could have become this very sad person, but instead she brought cheer to every patient, every doctor, every nurse, cleaning people. She knew everybody and she talked to everyone. So when Susie passed at 31 from an infection, we as a family needed to heal. And how could we make something positive out of something that's just incomprehensible? You can't even imagine what it is to lose a child. And so she died in June. Her birthday was in August. So we said, hey, everybody go out, pick out some items for another child. For Susie's birthday, we're going to make bags and give them to a foster agency. And Susie had a young friend when she was little, and I could still hear her voice in my head telling me, Mom, we were so rich. Felicia only had a garbage bag with a couple of toys and clothes in it. And so family and friends did not, disappoint. They went out and they took their little ones shopping and they picked up different things, and they came, and there was probably about 80, 90 people that day that showed up. From 90 something to 2. And they were flying around the backyard, and they had filled up, there must have been at least 6 of those long banquet tables full of stuff. So they put together 50 bags that day. Took 3 people, 2 to hold it shut for a third person to zip it shut. And then we had boxes of extra stuff. And I had one little girl come up to me, and she had picked up a Barbie doll, and she said, do you think she's pretty? And I said, she's gorgeous. She said, I went to the store and I looked at all the dolls, and that was the most beautiful doll I could see. So if I like her, I know the little girl that's going to get this bag is going to love it, and that makes me happy. That's the nuggets that started Susie Q's, right? So fast forward, we took, that week we took all the bags to a foster agency called Big Family Michigan there in St. Clair Shores. And anything that a family needs for foster care, for the grandparents or parents or adoptive parents, whoever they are, they can get items there from them. So we walked in, and I can remember the executive director, he's like, oh my goodness, you don't know what you're doing. And we were in full-on grief. I was walking around in a fog, right? I remember looking at my feet to see if I had my shoes on. But my husband had 5 on his shoulder. I had 5. We told our story. He took us around, told us a story for his organization. And he said he was going to use those bags to not help one child each, but to open the doors to other Department of Human Service agencies and different organizations across the state, so that he could help a whole lot of families and a whole lot of kids. And it would be his introduction to get in, start a conversation. So those 2 things just ruminated in our brains, and a little bit of therapy, or I should say a lot of therapy later, we decided to start Susie Q's Kids. So we create comfort bags for kids in need. They get a teddy bear, they get a blanket, they get a gift bag with coloring books and crayons and Uno cards and Play-Doh and stickers. And imagine anything that would brighten your day if you were sitting in a hospital room, or you had been taken from your family to put in foster care, or any multitude of different ways that we could make a child smile. So we call ourselves Smile Makers. And today we've helped over 15,000 kids. So our program is pretty much, it's got 4 elements to it. And people always ask me, well, why don't you just do foster kids? Or why don't you just do kids in a hospital? Or why don't you? And I think the kids anywhere should be helped. And so if I'm talking to you and you've been touched by foster care, that's going to be your tangible thing that's going to connect us. If you had somebody that had cancer in your family, a kid with cancer, that's what's going to connect us, right? And so I really wanted to see what I could do with businesses to connect with their employees, so to give them employee engagement, what I could do with kids to engage kids, and just the community, how we could make the community better. So we create our comfort bags, and they go to hospitals, hospice, shelters, foster care, grieving centers, autism centers, advocacy centers, schools, camps. Wherever there's a need and somebody reaches out to us, we try to see what we can do to fill that need. Now, I was flipping through Facebook one day, and one of the agencies at Christmas time had lined their entire tree with our bags, with our teddy bears sticking out of it, and Santa Claus sitting next to them. Did we make an impact that morning? We didn't even know that that was what was going to happen. We put the bags in the hands of those nonprofits because they already have the kids in their program. They've already vetted them. They have the teachers or the therapists or the professionals that can help them on their journey. There's no reason for us to insert ourselves into an already touchy situation and a private situation. We shouldn't be going into kids' rooms. We shouldn't be going into, they might have been taken away from their family. They have all the tools. And so they can help them with extra resources or anything that they need. So if I have an individual that reaches out to us, I will guide them to that nonprofit that can help them and say, if they don't have any bags on hand, then have them call me and I'll make sure you get one. But we further the mission of other nonprofits. The second part is we're very strong advocates of mental health and well-being. And so as I started out saying, how can I get hope and healing out of something so atrocious you can't imagine? How can I turn that around? And so I like to talk to people and talk to them about the power of positivity, how it's okay not to be okay, how we can flip our perspective if we just look at it a little bit different, or if we have that tangible person or thing that we can reach out to help us in that moment. I call them moments. So we are advocates for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We were named their Community Partner of the Year. Last year we were nominated, with the National Alliance of Mental Illness as an Advocate of the Year. So we're making inroads out into the community. This month is in September and October, we will be doing suicide walks. And we set up our tents and we man the children's area. So everybody comes through. While they come through, I listen, actively listening and engaging with people, learning their loved ones' names or what their situations were, and giving them a few techniques enables them to engage that day a little bit better, maybe a little different perspective, right? So I have people that come back year after year to get a thumbs up picture with Dr. Mary because I'll share that story in a few minutes, but it's a way to connect with what you're doing in the present and your loved one as well. And so they come back year after year to tell me they heard my voice, they knew they were going to be okay because I had said it was going to, they were going to make it through. So take that to schools now. The third element of our program is we engage kids in helping kids. So we go into school, we talk to the different kids to find out what they're passionate about. So it may be they have foster kids in their class. It may be that one of their families of friends was dealing with cancer. It may be, that several families have autistic children. Whatever their passions are and their connections, that's who they usually choose to engage with. So I always say, let's have a little discussion on all that mental health and well-being stuff, and then how are we going to do it? So we teach philanthropy and we teach service. And this world has to have both of those. We have to learn how to give, we have to learn how to help, and we also have to be able to learn how to accept when given a gift, right? So part of our program is we engage kids in helping kids. So it could be a Girl Scout troop that comes in here and donates coloring books and crayons and makes bags with me, and at the end of the night I dump a bunch of Beanie Babies on and they get to pick a Beanie Baby out. But what have they learned? They've gone through my room, they know what philanthropy is because I've shown them what inventory is and what was bought and what was gifted. And we talk a little bit about how they got to be in the room here today and what their expectations were. And how I asked one group of kids, I said, so is 15,000 a big number or a little number? And I got all different answers. And one girl said, well, it all depends. And I said, that's the right answer. I said, so if I told you 15,000 kids have been blessed with one of our gifts and are smiling, is that a big number or a little number? She goes, it's an enormous number. I said, well, I'm gonna give you another lesson. She says, yeah? And I said, so look around the room. How many smiles do you see in this room? She goes, we're all smiling. I said, well, now look at your parents. Well, they're all smiling too. I said, so for every bag, it took one of you, and usually a parent or a teacher or another professional that's along with you. So we can multiply that times at least 3. That's a gigantic number now, right? So how we engage kids is really the core of our going forward in life, because they're going to be the next generation that are going to be helping us to make sure that things happen. And the fourth one is, oh my gosh, there's some kid somewhere doing this. It makes my heart just melt, right? It makes the world right when you know that, maybe my child is not here and I can't do this to her, but I can guarantee you that she is with me in this moment, and I'll put my thumbs up for that because she's touched every one of these kids, because I wouldn't be doing it today if it hadn't been for her. So thumbs up. We always say that our loved ones are with us, right? They're in our heads, they're in our minds, they're in our hearts. But sometimes it's hard to do something tangible with that, right? So I always tell, especially kids, but adults as well, when you take a picture, I want you to send your thumbs up. You automatically smiled. And then when you snap a picture with your thumbs up and that big old smile, and you look back on that picture, I want you to name your thumb. So my thumb, here's Susie, and here's my mom. So whenever you take a picture and you throw your thumbs up in the air, or you tell your kids or grandkids or your family, friends, nieces, nephews, anybody that you come in contact with, you say, hey, throw your thumbs up, and then you share this story, you make the world right. Because when we look back on those pictures, my mom and Susie are in every single event. They are in a silly selfie, they're at the birthday, graduation, wedding. When we do a bag stuffing, we always put our thumbs up. And so it's a way to connect our past with our present and our future. And my website is susieqskids.org, and you can reach me at drmary@susieqskids.org. I always tell people that I love, 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 love to collaborate. And so how can you come to me with an idea, and that idea can spark a whole nother way that we do something, or how we approach, or another group of kids that need our help, or another group of people that need to have something to fulfill their time. And made a connection recently with a brain rehab, the Champions Forever. And people that have been injured have a brain injury and have been injured, they're rehabbing, they're teaching them new skills. They can put together my kits they can put together, they can do a no-sew blanket. And as several of them told me, everything is made with love. They put a little love in everything that they do. And so how can you contact me and help me just share this message around this big old world that we have, to spread a little more kindness, a little bit more smiles, and just make the world a little brighter.